Scha'poppin, everybody. My name is Jhasmine. Welcome to my channel.
My life in the sunshine.
I am going to be sharing my life story today and everything that I've learned along the way as best as I can without losing your interest, because this is the first time you're seeing me. Just kind of a introduction, word vomit to who I am, and a lot of background as to why I am the way I am and all that. These lights, no one tells you how fucking hot these lights are. No one fucking tells you that. No one tells you how hot. Look, these lights are hot. It feels like hell is on my face. You'll also learn that I'm dramatic. So a lot of my story, I feel, has been internalized through the scope of seeing myself outside of it, if that makes sense. And so I felt this would be the appropriate way to put myself on this platform. First and foremost is to just say my life and what I've been through. So my life, let's get into that. I'm originally a New York native. Hey, New Yorkers, was pepping, all that. Grew up in New York. Loved my life there. It was definitely fast-paced. It was definitely go, go, go. Started taking public transportation pretty young, stuff like that. It was a pretty fast-paced setup. It wasn't until I got to Texas, which is where I live now, that I was able to have the opportunity to slow down and think about life and think about, where I'm headed and what I really want to do and things like that. But we'll get into that in that whole transition to Texas, which is kind of what surrounds my life story, because that relocation changed me so much for the better. Definitely wouldn't say for the worse, but anyway. Graduated from middle school from 8th grade. My mom was in a relationship at the time, and met him online. They hit it off. He started visiting New York, taking us out, stuff like that, and he lived in Texas, and we were kind of like, man, like, this man got money, what I'm saying? He got money, he's established, he was actually from New York, so that's kind of how they bonded via the internet. And so they ended up hitting it off. He would come very, very much so often, and just, he would wine and dine us, take us out. And so we were like, wow, Texas must give some kind of foundation, because this man seems to be coming back to his home state, and he's able to live lavishly still because he lives there. So that's when kind of the seed for Texas started to come into my mom and I's mind. Leap all the way over a couple months, he gave us the opportunity to move. They had gotten pretty serious. I'll tell y'all about when I started to know that this man was crazy, that he was crazy, okay? Word to Charles Barkley. I significantly remember the night before I was about to move to Texas. I was supposed to move alone because Texas schools start earlier. And so I was on the phone with my friends like, girl, I'm gonna miss you, girl, I'm gonna miss you. We on the house phone, y'all, on 3-way, 4-way. Y'all know how it gets down, and we're like, I'm gonna miss you, girl, I'm straight, I'm finna move, I'm gonna miss you. And he's like constantly ringing up the other line, my mom's boyfriend at the time, that was supposed to be, relocating us. And I'm like, what does this man want? So I'm ignoring the calls because my mom is out. She's, she's doing her thing. So I'm like, if he needs her, he could contact her phone. Do I want to do this? I'm like thinking, do I want to do this? Anyway, my mom had some history with another person before she had gotten into this relationship, and I feel it hindered her moving forward into the relationship that she was in with the guy from Texas, because, of course, like I said, he moved relatively fast. She still wasn't over her situation before. And so, anyway, I'm on the house phone telling my friends how much I'm going to miss them. And I'm like, y'all going to have to come visit, And I finally answer his phone call on the other line, and he's like, I tried to help you and your mother. I'm like, huh? Like, the energy completely changed, guys, between him, like, visiting several times to come wine and dine, and, like, the experience to him in his emotions. changed completely. And, you know, I tried to help you and your mother, this and that. I don't know where she is, what she's doing. And I'm in 8th grade, y'all. Like, and I'm like, all right, like, I don't know how to help you, bro. Like, I don't know how to help you, you know? He, you know, clicks over, and my mom eventually comes home from what she was doing that night, and it turns out that, you know, he had some suspicions, and that she was where she didn't need to be, and mind you, all of this is going down the day before I'm supposed to leave. I pack my bags, everything goes as planned. They you know, try to suture up whatever problems they had that night before I left. They try to suture up whatever problems they had, you know, with each other before I left, and then we tried to carry on. And then we got to Texas. It was different as fuck. Everything was far as fuck, which I'll do another video if you guys would like. Comment down below if you want me to do a video on the differences between New York and Texas. But everything was far, everything was big, there was no trash anywhere. I was like, wow, this is clean. Like, everybody lives clean. Like, the city treats them good. Like, we don't have to scrummage around in subways and gum on the floor and all types of shit, you know what I'm saying? So I was very surprised by Texas. And I was young, impressionable. I was about to be a freshman in high school, so I was about to start high school. I desperately wanted to stay in New York because a lot of my original childhood friends were going to similar high schools together, and I wanted to carry that, you know, tradition on for us to know each other and be around each other, but life had other plans. Started my freshman year, everybody considered me very unfriendly, you know, very unfuckwittable, you know. They just felt like I was in my own zone, and I was just used to minding my business. That's what we do in New York. We mind our business, so much so that people have to force us to be community-like and to stand up for strangers, because we just are so zoned. Like, you could be anywhere and everybody's just minding their business. You see any given thing in New York and people are just like, because they're in their own lane. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? They are trying to get to where they're trying to go. And so I had to open myself up to be more social, to meet people, and their problems just got increasingly worse. The trust between them drifted where my mom's heart was at, you know. His trust issues just got worse, and she got more, you know, private and things like that. And so me as a child watching all of this, I'm in a rock and a hard place, you know. I know no one my freshman year. I'm looked at as being unfriendly, so I'm like, can't really share with anyone what's going on in my household with anybody at school. My friends from New York, you know, we're just now getting phones, you know, we're freshmen. It's not like we have iPhones where we could just FaceTime and stuff like that. So none of that was there. I vividly remember them getting into a very explosive argument, and we had still had a couple boxes that were trickling in, and he started throwing them bitches out, you know, like throwing boxes out, because him and my mom were just that at odds with each other. And I'm like, what, how old are you freshman year? I'm like 12, 13. That's probably such a lie, but anyway, I'm a freshman in high school, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy, you know. We wanted a new beginning, and somehow we're being kicked out of it. So metaphorically, I guess, but we decided to stick it out in Texas, make it work. And so all of this happened off the internet, all this trauma, you know. And I'm sure, you know, drop down in the comments if you could relate some things happening in your childhood. And there was nowhere to document, there was nowhere to share, there was nowhere to relate, which is what I feel my channel will be. It's just a place to relate and a place to recollect on situations that we never got the chance to heal. And so, you know, I'm watching all this and I'm like, okay, what do we do? And so after he ends up, you know, threatening to kick us out, my mom sits with him and just says, hey, look, you know, I've been looking at places. We'll be out of your hands in a couple days if you can just give us that. He gave us those couple days, and we never looked back. And we got an apartment, which is when, you know, I started to finally open up myself to be more social and to try to make friends, because I'm like, okay, I guess Texas is home, you know, for a little while. And so I start making friends and start getting into all the high school drama stuff and boyfriend, girlfriend, and I got tons of story times. If you're interested in that in high school, please drop down in the comments below if you want me to tell a story about high school girl, because the mean girl clique stuff, the my best friend, you know, cheated on me with my boyfriend. Girl, I have it. Like, because, you know, I don't know if I was just a different kind of person interjecting into anybody I may have encountered, but it seemed like there was always a ripple into some large situation with every person I have seen to meet since being here. But I did high school, went to college, and that brings me to, I guess, where I'm at now. Where I'm at now is my mom decided to relocate back. A lot of my friends don't even know that I'm getting into documenting. So, you know, whenever they see this, I'm sure will be different and new. But yeah, which brings me to where I'm at now, where I'm just in a place of 2019 is the year to create, you know. There are certain things I do, such as self-talk, that has helped me my whole life. I am the only child. I've seen a lot, and you know, some of these things I have not felt comfortable sharing, and so I've used self-talk as therapy, honestly, to really process, because that's the kind of person I am. For my feelers, I'm back. Where you at? My feelers. I have to process, and of course, sometimes you don't even have the energy to get into some of this stuff. And so, you know, where I'm at now is I am finally at a place where I feel like I can create freely. You know, my mom decided to move back, and as a result of, I feel, all of these life's events, I feel our relationship has developed some level of toxic, and she's dealing and handling herself accordingly. And so, so timely that I'm recording this, but today, I believe, she's leaving and she's going back. And so I'm one deep. I'm here in Texas, choosing a new beginning. I just couldn't see myself going back, really. There would be no job, no community. I mean, I have friends there who love me and who I feel would want to reconnect, but I just don't need the busyness and the craziness of New York right now. Not as I'm trying to discover and figure out myself. And so where I'm at now is I'm here to create. I'm here to express myself finally and not feel bad about it, and just to be and create and cultivate, hopefully, a community with you guys. I have lots more to come. Please subscribe. Please subscribe, like, share this video. My socials will be underneath, where I also talk about my emotions and talk about what I'm learning in life and being funny and enjoying myself, really. So follow me on there if you'd like. Happy to be here, my niggas. Catch you later. Let me do a thumbnail.
On my mind, don't want to feel you. Don't want you on my mind. Don't want to feel you. Don't want you on my mind. You were good. Why'd you call? I don't need to hear you crying out my name. And like before, when you and I lay eye to eye, now it's time for you to taste the bitter end. So I ask myself, do